Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're seeing a lot more green after a lot of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt has passed over from the news yesterday from Binance and CZ stepping down as the CEO of Binance. And so a lot of that news is passing over. A lot of the outlook for the ETF is coming back around. A lot of people are very excited about that. There's a lot of hope that those will be announced by the end of the year or early next year. And so I want to talk about the overall crypto market. One thing I really want to focus on here is altcoins and the path for alt season. And so this picture is passed around a lot. And so before we get into things here, I want to go through this and just explain my thoughts on altcoins and what my strategy is moving forward. And so we can see here, right? Initially, back in 2017, you could definitely buy Bitcoin. You could ride that up maybe 200%. Then you could go ahead, sell, move it into Ethereum, and do the same thing. You could take gains from that, move it into large caps, and then you could take your gains from large caps and then move them into smaller cap cryptos. However, I think things have changed. This is not a good demonstration of the markets today. Bitcoin will pump up. Let's say it goes up 3x to about $111,000. However, at that same time, there is other individuals buying Ethereum, buying large caps, and then also putting money into those smaller cap cryptos. And so I don't think there's as much of a flow as there was before. There is a lot of people buying these at the same time as Bitcoin is going up, just because they know the potential of these smaller cap cryptos and they expect the money to flow from Bitcoin to Ethereum. So does this still take place? Yes. However, I don't think it's as big as it once was. There's a lot more people putting the money into altcoins early on since they realize that's where the big gains can be made. That's where you can find the 50x, 100x, possibly 200x returns. And so I personally am looking for those larger returns. And so, for example, if you put $100 into Bitcoin and say it does a 3x, right? And so Bitcoin currently at around $37,000 goes up to $111,000. That is a 3x return. You're going to turn your $100 into $300. So it's a great return. However, you made $200. And so if I was going to invest $100, I'd rather put that into a riskier altcoin, knowing that I could potentially lose $100. But then in the long run, knowing that there is potential, depending on what altcoin I choose, whether it's a large cap or a really small crypto, that I could do a 10 to a 200x on my cryptocurrency, which will provide a much bigger return. I could turn that $100 into $10,000. And so I'd rather take that risk personally. However, that is up to you. Now, if you're investing, say, $100,000 or more, maybe it's better just to buy Bitcoin, right? There's better return for that. If it does a 3x, you turn $100,000 into $300,000. And so it's not worth the risk. It's not worth putting $100,000 into a small altcoin that could potentially go to zero. That's a very quick way to lose money. However, if you're really just putting a small amount in, say you're pretty much gambling, whether you put it in Bitcoin or an altcoin, I'd rather choose an altcoin with much greater upside. And so as we can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at $37,400. And one thing I want to mention as well right now, as many of us know, there is only 21 million Bitcoin. And so this is one of the only assets that has a store of value that is actually a capped supply, right? Gold is a store of value, property is a store of value. However, gold, there can be more that is found, right? They can go and find different locations where they can find more gold. Yes, it is limited. However, it is not an actual hard cap. Same thing with property, right? Land is limited. However, if they want to make more space, they can build skyscrapers and take advantage of the height for more property value. And so it's not completely capped like Bitcoin. This is the first asset that is going to have an actual cap. And so once that is reached, there's no more Bitcoin that can be mined, which will have to drive up the price if there is utility to that. And so that's just something to keep in mind. That happens with a lot of altcoins as well. There's many altcoins out there that have a max circulating supply or total supply, and they cannot mint anymore. And so that's something to keep in mind as well. Therefore, it'll have to drive up the price. And so this is something new with this asset class. And I think something that a lot of people don't really know about that can really drive up the price. And so that's just my thoughts on that as well. So we can see here, one of the reasons that Bitcoin is really starting to push up is the SEC commissioner has said there is no reason to stop a spot Bitcoin ETF. And so there's a lot of hope that these are going to be released by the end of the year or early next year. There's a lot of different applications. I believe there's about 8 to 10 of them currently out there right now. And so we assume that those are all going to be pushed out all at once, whether it's going to be just a Bitcoin ETF or if Ethereum ETF is going to be announced at the same time. And so there's a lot of speculation on that, which would drive a lot of money into the cryptocurrency markets. A lot of people would be buying Bitcoin right away. However, as we were showing with that flow chart, some of that money may start flowing down. However, if you want to be ahead of the herd, you can go ahead and start buying now. Therefore, you can get the better gains. You can look for those 50, 60, 100x returns where there's going to be a lot of money, right? You can put $100 into a cryptocurrency, and then if it does 100x, you're looking at a very good amount of money there, right? And so that's definitely something to keep in mind with altcoins versus buying Bitcoin. And so another thing here as well, we can see that there has been a lot of money flowing into Tether. And so we can see during the 2020 to 2021 bull run here, we saw a lot of money flow into it. We saw this really start to go up here, and we are starting to see this trend back up, right? And so we're seeing more money than before starting to flow back into cryptocurrencies. So people convert their cash into USDT, and then they end up buying cryptocurrencies with that. And so this is a very bullish tool here, we can see. And as more money starts flowing into this, we're going to start driving up the cryptocurrency prices. And so some other news here as well, talking about ETFs. There is an ETP, an exchange traded product for XRP that is going to be launching early 2023. And so this is next month that they buy physical XRP to launch this. And so that's just something to keep in mind. However, as far as an ETF for Ripple, I'm not sure if that's actually going to come about, right? The Ripple is looking into launching an IPO. They have been talking about this for many years. However, with the regulation and the lawsuit, it's been very hard for them to do that. However, with the lawsuit coming to an end here, they may be looking to push the IPO out. And right now, they're expecting maybe that to happen around middle of next year, around May. And so that's something definitely to look out for. And so if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps push out the content and make people aware of the opportunities out there. And so I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving, and I hope to see you in the next video.